Welcome to the Liquidity events. We're your hosts, Shane Mason.
I'm AJ Ayers in the house.
She's wearing a goofy hat today, so she's living it up. And
don't I look like a villain in like a... Never mind.
You look like your mom dressed you for Coachella. And this is episode 8 being recorded on September 15th, 2021. How we doing, AJ?
I'm doing great. Yeah. It's Wednesday night. Man, lots of tax law changes coming out hot this week. So, you know, I love this. It's like Christmas for us as accountants and financial planners. Lots of changes coming, digesting, you know, floating ideas around with our accountant community, figuring out what makes sense, and then like, you know, sending out stuff to clients. Probably do like a deep dive in tax law changes soon, but big changes coming. Exciting stuff. A lot of it's bad for rich people, but that's okay. They'll live. How you doing?
I'm good. That was such a little spiel. I love it.
I don't know. I'm look, we're nerds. Like when tax law comes out,
Tax spiel.
Admittedly, I'm not reading the bill. I'm going to the experts who are, their job is like tax research, and they're gonna read the bill. They're gonna do a webinar. I'm gonna attend it, and then I'm gonna spill it back out to you guys.
I can't see your eyes with that hat on. You look like you're in Tombstone. You look like one of the wives of the gunman from Tombstone.
But it was part of my what am I doing for fun?
Oh,
no.
right.
Now I have hat hair. Jesus. Oy vey. What a start. Speaking of oy vey, happy Yom Kippur tomorrow. To
yes.
The Jews out there.
Mm.
Have a good fast. It's going to be a brutal day.
How's your fast going?
Oh, my fast
How
is
was
over.
your prolon?
It was fine. I failed.
This was your second time trying prolon?
Second time was a lot harder. It was a lot harder, and I lost it on day 4.
The rush was gone? The thrill was gone the second time around?
Yeah, the thrill had worn off dramatically.
That's why you exploded on me on Thursday.
I did get really mad at you. I don't remember what it was about. But...
I don't even remember you exploding, which sounds very toxic for our relationship.
No, it's probably good. It means it means that I got to a level, and that was just... No, I think it was fine. I don't remember what it was about. Anyway, what are you reading this week?
So I have a confession for what I'm reading this week. A couple podcast episodes ago, I told everyone that I was reading this book, The Magic of Reality by Richard Dawkins. And then I was like ripping through it. I was like, this book is so easy to read. And I was like, wait a second. And I looked it up, and it's a book for middle school middle school kids that are looking to get enchanted by science. I was like, I am such a fast reader. I am ripping this thing up. This is how rainbows are made. And I was like, oh no. Oh my God.
So basically you were like, oh, I'm so smart. I know all this stuff. And basically you discovered that your reading level is like a 3rd grader.
No. It was just like, well, I know most of these concepts already, and like, there's not a lot of big words in here. And this book is illustrated. There it is.
I got a soundboard, or I figured out how to use my soundboard.
It's AJ's dream. Anyway, you've got this Lovecraft book over here. What is this?
Oh yeah, H.P. Lovecraft. Problematic man. Great cosmic horror, I guess, is the genre that we often we in the community ascribe H.P. Lovecraft stories to. One of my favorite stories ever, The Shadow over Innsmouth. Weird, creepy, New England, old gods, Cthulhu, all that stuff. So I've got a collection of his stories, and I was just vegging out the other day and picked it up and read it. It's more like a novella. It's a pretty long short story, but if you like science fiction or fantasy or horror, highly, highly recommend The Shadow over Innsmouth by Lovecraft.
Tight. It reminds me of a very cool Lovecraftian indie game called The Sunless Sea that I played a lot a few years ago. That was like a literary roguelike underworld. There's no sun, and you're on this little boat, and like you eat people, and yeah, it's cool. It's all Lovecraftian inspired.
Cool.
I don't know if you've got that level of nerdiness in you. I think you do.
I think I do. Sure. With enough.
Then again, you weren't invited to board game night.
Yeah, that was really weird. But whatever. That's cool.
You busted.
Doesn't everyone know that we come as a package? You can't invite Shane to something and not invite me. Come on.
What we're doing for fun is I've been playing Gloomhaven, the incredibly overwrought board game. I got to her house at like 8 o'clock, and we finally started playing, I think, at like 11 o'clock when we were done setting it up. And then midnight, midnight rung, and I was like, oh, well, gotta go. We played for
Turned into a pumpkin.
Yeah, just ran out of there.
Turned into a pumpkin spice latte. What you drinking? Anything good?
Yes, I am drinking Lagavulin 16-year-old single malt, which is a little bit above my pay grade, but we are being audited by the SEC right now, which is a routine audit.
Yeah.
A routine audit for our listeners.
Yeah.
And it's mandatory annual audit, but I am treating myself for putting up with the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop.
Treat yourself, Monsieur Maison. Cheers.
What are you drinking? What is that?
Ooh, this is
it's your natural wine thing.
Yeah, I love natural wine. This is a particularly delicious Portuguese natural wine. It's a red. The grape is called Baga. And this is it. If you're listening, remember this is a video podcast. It says Nat Cool, and it's got a cool drawing of eyes.
That is a cool label.
Eyebrows. And there's some rules. It says Nat Cool rules. Number 1, I like these rules. No rules. Number 2, always respect the first rule. Number 3, less is more. Number 4, cooler equals less extraction, less mess. Anyway, there's a bunch more rules, but not often that your wine bottle comes with some rules. But it's a super funky, deep, grapey glass of wine that I'm enjoying very, very much.
Natural wine, the sour beer of wines.
True.
That's my
the cider of
reference
wines.
point. No. Cider's gross. All right. And you're doing for fun is you are dressing up for weddings. How many weddings have you been to this year?
3. Or this
sure?
one this weekend is 3rd. Yeah.
This
so
month?
I'm going to a Southwestern themed wedding. Hence
thus the tombstone hat.
Hence the sort of silly hat. It's not a tombstone hat. It's actually a Georgia O'Keeffe Ranch replica
Don't
hat
try to dress it up
that
culturally.
I ordered
that is a
from,
Coachella witch hat.
No, I ordered it from the Georgia O'Keeffe Foundation in Taos, New Mexico.
I see how you did that.
Thank you very much.
I forgot to mention that I played Wingspan last week as well, which is the dopest board game about ornithology. Any ornithology heads out here that also like board games, you can hatch eggs. You can capture woodpeckers of all species of woodpeckers. I should say the majority of them. Dope board game. All right, let's get into the actual content. What kind of IPOs we got coming up this week?
We got a lot of IPOs coming up this week. Next week, there are 13 total. This
is IPO season. It's IPO busy season.
IPO roadshow time. We've got Argo.
Last September, one of our busiest months of the year.
It was our biggest September ever, as Anna Wintour would say.
Is Fashion Week coming up?
Fashion Week was last week. Yeah, you missed Fashion Week.
Oh, well, the Pokemon Go Fashion Week event is next week, so I think I missed. That's why I missed it.
Might be London. Yeah. New York Fashion Week is different, and they kind of like travel all over. There's like New York, and then Paris, and then London. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've been in that game.
Right. All right. Well, there we are.
Who do we got going public this week? We got Freshworks. I don't know what that is. That's not FreshBooks, the freelance invoicing software, is it? No, it is not. I don't know what that is, honestly.
I think FreshBooks is Canadian anyway.
Oh, okay. So they wouldn't be going public on a U.S. market.
I could be wrong about that. I mean, of course they could, but I could be wrong about that.
I'm not seeing anything super exciting that I want to talk about here, honestly.
These links are weird.
Yeah.
I'm seeing Bros on my link. The one we
Bros,
already dunked
Dutch
on.
Bros coffee. How is Bros doing?
Well, maybe they get refreshed up here. Maybe Bros got pushed.
Okay. Allbirds. I think that's a big one that people are talking about. Never mind.
What?
My husband, Nabil, was like, I'm going to get some new shoes. My friend told me Allbirds. I was like, if you get Allbirds, I will divorce you. I'm sorry. I'm going to be a dick. I think Allbirds are super lame, and I think you're really lame if you wear Allbirds.
Wow. Intense.
Sorry.
Why? What's wrong with Allbirds?
They're just like ugly, like loser shoes.
Whoa. Somebody listening to this is looking down at their shoes right now.
Well,
and
you should
giving you a
you should potentially reevaluate.
wow, spicy. All right, I am unfamiliar with the brand,
With Allbirds, they're
but
just
they
like
are.
everywhere. Well, you're about to get mad Instagram ads. But they filed for
Oh,
IPO on August 31st. Don't know when they're going to go through their review with the SEC. Being underwritten by Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, Bank of America. Let's see. Trying to raise $200 million, and they'll be listed on the NASDAQ. Founded in 2015. So that's kind of a true startup. That's 6 years to IPO. It's pretty cool. It's pretty fast.
yeah, we're year 4, so we'll be going. Well, I be IPOing in 2023
Brooklyn FI
for sure.
was our ticker. Oh yeah, hose.
There you go. Look at you.
Oh, regular old shock
That's
jock.
comedy.
Yeah.
That's comedy 101.
You know what's not on our list that I do want to talk about? Sorry, I'm going to go off script here. We missed this one in that Mailchimp is getting acquired by Intuit, which is the tax software giant famous for TurboTax and most products that all tax preparers use. We use Intuit products at our business. Slightly more sophisticated products than TurboTax. But yeah, Mailchimp, everyone's favorite email marketing newsletter service, got acquired in a cash and stock deal for $12 billion. What I think is, this is a very unique acquisition because Mailchimp, sort of famously, Atlanta company, brought a lot of jobs to Atlanta, was bootstrapped, right? They didn't take on a lot of money. There's 2 co-founders, so presumably these 2 co-founders are about to get very, very wealthy. And I think
$6 billion each.
Yeah, pretty much. And
Maybe.
and sort of notably
In the simplest world.
Yeah, in keeping things really simple.
Let me do the math here.
Yeah,
that's $6 billion.
6 each
per founder.
Mailchimp was kind of in hot water a couple of years ago for gender pay inequality, discrimination against people of color. Your typical bro-y startup stuff. And sort of famously, they didn't really grant equity. When you have a startup, part of their pay package was people by demand wanted cash and not equity. So not a lot of folks have stock options or stock units in Mailchimp. So after this deal closes, I think there's I forget the details, but it's basically something like $500 million is actually going to get spread out amongst existing employees as equity. So that's a nice post acquisition. Hey, thanks for your work here. Let's give you some shares in the acquiring company, which is Intuit. Why don't I like this? Here's why I don't like it. Because I bet there's a lot of people out there who worked at Mailchimp and left, maybe because they didn't like the culture, they didn't feel welcome, they missed out on, this equity opportunity. If Mailchimp had granted stock options from the beginning as part of compensation, those people would have been able to exercise before they left and would have been able to cash in on this liquidity event, which is what we're talking about.
Right. Here we are on the liquidity events, talking about the liquidity events. Yeah. I've heard that software employees outside of San Francisco are less frequently accepting equity than those within the San Francisco ecosystem that are they're just less familiar with the potential upside of being acquired. Maybe it just happens so infrequently in Atlanta and other smaller hubs that they just want money. They just want cash. They just take salary. So they take that instead of equity. There was still an allotment, right, from the founders set aside for which is essentially just like it was not required. A bone was thrown to the employees. What was the size of that? Was it a few $100 million?
Yeah, there's a $200 million to start, and then once the deal closes, another $300 million. So it's almost $500 million total
across
the, I think it's 1,200 employees. So it's pretty big, sizable chunk. But a lot of that could be future stock, right? It could be future vesting. I imagine it's not, here's $250,000. It's probably, you got to work here for a few more years.
That's a lot of money per employee.
Yeah, it's awesome. But people who left missed out. Not cool. All right, sorry for derailing that. That was just I was top of mind and I forgot to put it in here. I'll let you take the next little segment.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot about that. I mean, that was one of the biggest deals. I mean, that's quite a large acquisition here. What do we have next? We've got the Times of India, general financial planning space. Amazon is getting into wealth management. AJ, do you feel pressure?
Do
Jeff?
I feel pressure?
I mean, Jeff could do your job.
There's no way Jeff could do my job. No way. Not in a million years.
Of course he could.
No way.
He's such a charismatic, empathetic person.
I don't think I'm either. Well, like, I'm empathetic. I don't know. I think I'm too fast of a talker to be charismatic. Charisma means you know how to control what comes out of your mouth. I don't know how to control what comes out of my mouth.
Well, yeah. So I don't know. They're getting into. I mean, there's a big market in India, I guess, for wealth management. Amazon, I guess, maybe
1.5 billion people live there. I imagine there's a lot of money to manage.
Right. Discretionary income, not quite the same what it would be here. I imagine they're beta testing or alpha testing this platform for something that they might roll out in the United States or other higher, higher income countries. But yeah, it's interesting that they are. I don't even think they're like acquiring a company and partnering with a company for wealth management. They're not doing it soup to nuts. Your favorite analogy, your favorite idiom.
Soup to nuts. Where does
Have
that
you
come
learned
from?
what soup to nuts
No,
comes
I haven't
from
looked
yet?
it up. No, I'm
If
not going
any
to.
listeners know what soup to nuts comes from, please
Leave us a voicemail at podinbox.com/theliquidity event.
And we'll shout you out when we read out what soup to nuts means.
Yeah, totally.
Do you have a theory?
I have no idea. Let's play
What kind
Balderdash.
of nuts do you think they're referencing?
You know, it's a board game. That's not really
like
a board
nuts
game.
and bolts.
Balderdash. You know Balderdash? Let's Balderdash soup to nuts.
We don't have time for this. We got
right,
so many
move on.
articles to get through. All right, what else do we have?
Trader
here?
Joe's is opening in Williamsburg/Greenpoint at 200 Kent Avenue. This is primo news. If you've never been to a Trader,
hyper-local news for our listeners.
Everyone loves Trader Joe's. I took you to your first Trader Joe's, which blew my mind, in St. Louis, Missouri.
The magic of Trader Joe's.
So it's opening at 200 Kent Avenue. There used to be a great DIY venue called 285 Kent. Did you ever go there? Over there?
Of course. Yeah, many times. Yeah.
Good party spot. Closed.
Been here 10 years.
Closed in what? 2015, 16?
I don't know.
RIP 285 Kent. RIP DIY music. Welcome
RIP
Trader Joe's.
Everything in Williamsburg. RIP North Brooklyn. What else we got? You got this other article here that's very AJ. Olaplex going public.
Oh yeah. So I was looking at the list of companies that are going public, and my eyes are sort of glazing past all the SPACs, all the special acquisition companies, and I see this word Olaplex. And I'm like, is that the hair oil that I use? I went into my bathroom and realized that yes, Olaplex hair oil, which my hairdresser, shout out Nora at Shebop, you rule, she recommended, and this company's fucking going public. Like their hair oil is so good that they have patented this like very specific make your hair shiny formula that they sued L'Oreal over patent infringement, and they've got profits of almost $100 million, and they're raising money to go public. Like, I love this story. They've got a female CEO. Like, I am rooting for Olaplex. This is, I think we should expect it. They've already filed their S1, so we should expect them to be publicly traded probably within the next month or so. I'm very excited.
All right. Are you going to buy stock?
I don't think I'm allowed to, but I'm excited.
You're not
for
allowed
them.
to?
I don't really, I don't like to mess with things. I have a lot of clients at companies that tell me things. I don't like to.
Was this investment advice?
It's not investment advice. I'm rooting for this company. How many?
What do you know? What do you know that we don't know? What do you know that we don't know?
Well, how many female CEOs?
That's a buy signal live on the podcast, everyone. We're bullish.
No, it's not. How many female CEOs are there of the S&P 500? Of the 500 companies on the S&P 500, how many of them have female CEOs?
How many are you asking? I'm sorry, I don't know the answer off the top of my head, but I do know the richest one is the CEO of Bumble.
True. Whitney Wolf.
There
Whitney
we are.
Wolf. Yeah.
Very cool name.
I found two conflicting things. One said 30, the other one said 40. So between 6 and 8% of CEOs on the Fortune 500 list of I'm sorry, not Fortune 500, S&P 500 are female CEOs. Let's make Olaplex part of the S&P 500.
So the patriarchy is
alive
living
and
breathing.
Yep.
Yeah, alive and well. All right. I got some general I mean, we already kind of talked about taxes a little bit, but taxes are fun. Taxes are interesting. There's a couple tax updates. I mean,
what's your favorite tax?
My favorite tax?
Of all the taxes in the world, what's your favorite tax?
I mean, I really like excise taxes. They're like the reverse of subsidies. They're just like, this is a terrible thing to exist in society, so we're going to tax it specifically, like cigarette taxes and
a sin tax, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. A sin tax. It's very easy to understand. A sugar tax. I think there should be much higher sugar taxes, just to disincentivize people to consume them based on prices. It's just like the most basic type of macroeconomics. It's just really clear punch to the supply or the demand for certain prices based on supply curves and pricing. It's very cool. It's just the simplest. I mean, besides that, income taxes are, I really like the wealth tax. Is that what you wanted me to say that?
I know tax? You love, no, I was just curious. I thought you might pull out something like I'd never heard of, but I know you love the wealth tax, which is not a thing yet. It's just a proposal.
Give me time. I got a lot of rabbits in this hat. I like the wealth tax a lot. I mean, there's that awesome book that I borrowed from you and have not cracked. That was a couple of years ago. The book Capital, which it was like a 800-word thesis or
800-page thesis.
800-page. Jesus. Thrust for. Okay, now you're going a little too far. Thrust for a wealth tax. I mean, I'm so disappointed by. I love that we're going to be taxing higher incomes. I think that that's just necessary for us to fund the future. I find it interesting that now that millennials are entering their highest income earning years, that we're raising taxes on all the high income earners. I think that this recent approach to increasing taxes could have been more well targeted with a wealth tax, and it targets people with incomes over 400,000 in general, which is a lot of people that are just getting their nest egg started. I mean, that it's like their first few years, like mid 30s, late 30s, in your 40s, you're making this money saving for retirement. And there's a lot of billionaires that don't have any taxable income, so to speak. They just sit on giant unrealized gains, and it does not target the people that have benefited the most from our society and the people that contribute the least as a proportion of their wealth to society. And I know that a wealth tax is very difficult to accomplish, and we have razor thin margins in the Senate, and that's, I think, why we're not getting those highly impactful ongoing or one-time wealth taxes to redistribute them, that income across the people that really need it and the institutions that really need it to foster our society. But we have what we have. And it looks like it's going to get passed via budget reconciliation. And I did say on a few episodes ago that I have no idea what budget reconciliation is, but I now understand 5% of it after listening to a 45-minute podcast specifically on budget reconciliation.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, when it gets to 15, I'll bring 5, and then we'll understand 20% of it, and then we can talk about it. So maybe when this thing is like actually coming through, like right now we're getting the high level. There's going to be some markups. There's typos in the bill, which is always funny. Wealth tax. There's a bunch of things in the new tax law that I don't like. You were saying like it's as you're entering your higher earning years, a lot of people want to make a bunch of money and then retire and not work again. So if you're going to get taxed, during your like 30s and 40s, like I would love to see some kind of like, this is such a fucking millennial thing to say, but like, why don't we have a wealth tax beginning at age 50? Like you've had your chance to like make a bunch of money, like give the young people a chance to like build that nest egg and then, contribute to society in other ways in their retirement, volunteer, do cool shit. I don't know.
I've never heard of a direct. Yeah, that's really that's
spicy, right?
That is very spicy. I've never heard of a proposal to tax people based on their age. I guess there are child tax credits and American there's tax credits are mostly. Some of those are based on age, but
so much
brackets
of the
and
retirement. Yeah, retirement distributions. You can't touch your IRA till age 59 and a half. Fine, don't tax me till I'm 50 or 59 and a half. you know,
Right. That is indirect. Yeah.
or don't levy, excess taxes.
Don't tax people until they're 30. Now we're talking. Get your feet off the ground, build up a little nest egg. Yeah.
Yeah. If you contribute to your Roth IRA each year consecutively, even a little bit, not the full amount, you don't pay any taxes or not any taxes, but you pay lower taxes until age 30.
Yeah. I mean, what is the incentive there? No one's going to be like, oh, I'm going to earn all my money in my 20s and then retire at 30. Like, you just give people a chance to get the ball rolling on wealth. And we all know that it takes a good head start to, wealth is based on time and building up a nest egg and building up positive net worth and getting money into accounts so that they can compound. Yeah. Yeah. Love it. Love spitballing about wacky tax proposals.
Wacky Tax. That's going to be the name of our next firm. Wacky Tax with AJ and Shane.
There's a giant franchise called Happy Tax that has been sued many times. Yeah.
I want to hear about your Roomba obsession.
I mean, I have a dog. I've got wooden floors.
What's this?
I have
something about poop and Roombas? Tell me this. Tell me about this.
Oh my God. I've been a Roomba stan for years now, ever since I got a Roomba. Some guy at the dog park during COVID was like fake or coyly mad at me about not having a Roomba and having a dog. It was like some weird flex that he had that was all in jest. And then I got one, and it is a beautiful product, especially for those that have dogs and don't ever sweep their floors. I ran the thing for so when you turn it on, it like runs around your house blindly, just bumping into things very
kind of like
endearingly stupidly. Yeah, it's kind of like you. But the whole time it's sucking up hair and dirt. And I ran just like you. And I ran it for 10 hours, and each time I ran it, it was full of dog hair and dirt. I was like, how was I living before this thing? This place is disgusting. And huge fan of it. And then I guess they're getting smarter. And Roombas have been around for so long that I already thought that they were much smarter. And when I bought it, I thought that it was learning my house. And then this article comes out recently on TechCrunch about how Roombas are finally going to learn your house and try to memorize things and use machine learning to. And it's oh, my Roomba has not been doing that.
It was literally just running around bumping into things drunk.
Take a right. Take a right. Take a right. Object. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So apparently I wasn't familiar with this because I have a house trained dog, but they just kept running over poop over and over and over again. I guess people, the old Roombas
who has poop on the floor in their house. I guess you have a dog.
Why is this such a big problem that they released this? iRobot made an acronym for their new robots called the Pet Owner Official Promise, aka Poop. Pet Owner Official Promise. And there's a warranty and everything. And I guess there are sensors on the front now. And they fed their Roombas millions of 2-factors or whatever of which one of these images is poop. And enough people answered those correctly that now the Roombas know what poop is. Yeah. So now it's going to avoid the poop. Apparently it doesn't work on pee though, because it's not 3-dimensional enough for the Roomba to avoid it. So
not smart enough for pee yet.
Yeah, so big fan of the new Roombas coming out. I might just get one, except my Roomba is just indestructible.
Yeah.
And it's been running strong for years. So
happy for you and your Roomba.
I haven't named it yet. What should I name my Roomba, AJ?
Sucker.
Come on, you're better than that. I have a label maker, I can.
Yeah, over your label maker. We have some listener mail.
All right.
Been getting lots of feedback on the podcast. Thank you for those emails, for those voicemails. We love them. This is from Steve. And Steve says, been getting some vids in my YouTube feed on top credit cards rewards. What are the top 1 to 3 credit cards in your wallets, and how do you use them? Which ones for what kind of expenses, and what point redemption do you tend to use? Cashback, travel, etc. What's in your wallet, Shane?
Okay. Wow. Capital One did not sponsor this podcast.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the Chase, we went through a deep dive. I had, how many credit cards have I had over
I don't
the
know,
years?
way too many. Here's my lukewarm take. I'm over credit card
Points?
travel hack. I'm not over points. If you're spending more than 3 hours a year tracking your credit card points, you need to reevaluate, because credit card points are awesome. Yeah, if Chase Sapphire is offering you 100,000 points to get a new credit card, sure, get the new Chase card. But to have spreadsheets and tracking apps and all that, I don't know, man. I think when you get a new fancy credit card, all you want to do is spend money to get the bonus. And the credit card companies still win, even if they're giving you a sick bonus to sign up for that card. So I use points. I've got an Amex Platinum personally that I use for everything. And I've got an Amex Delta Reserve. We just got new ones of those and we spent so much money in the first 2 months of having those cards because we were jazzed about getting Delta status, which is exactly, we played like right into their hands. We're buying what they're selling.
Yeah, well, I mean, so people like you and I think everyone should have a number for what their time is worth on an hourly basis and what your income, like if you are trading your time for money, you can either trade it for income or you can trade it to save money, right? So like how much time are you spending on saving money, tracking credit card rewards points? I mean, for some people, if you spend 5 hours to save $2,500, that's a really good ROI. People like you and I and other freelancers, we literally have hourly rates for when we go to work. We get paid directly for the amount of time that we spend on it. And there's a certain amount of hundreds of dollars that I think that I am worth for every hour that I invest in something. People with salaries are a little bit different. So I personally have a Chase card for the Chase Ultimate Rewards points, and then I have an Amex Platinum for whenever that is useful. And there's really good cash back on that. And then the Amex Delta Reserve, because it's one of those cards which is going to be unique for business owners. If you spend a ton of money on it, because business owners spend a ton of money through their business, then you get some cool rewards.
Yeah, I think I also have like an OG, Bank of America regular old credit card with, not very many perks that I've had since college because I don't want to close it. Right, that old credit card is really helping my credit score because I've had it for so long and I've made those regular payments on it. So I have like my Netflix that goes to that card. And I just have it set on auto pay. So that's not in my wallet. I honestly don't even know where that credit card is. I think I also made you an authorized user on that card, so you might have a credit card floating around somewhere.
Oh, I found it. Yeah, it's over here actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a tipping point on when it makes sense, and everyone has to do their own math on it. I'm at this point, man. I'm like almost like a debit card guy. Like, just simplification is my new.
That's what I'm saying. Like this whole game, I think the points are nice. It feels really good when you get a free night in a hotel or a free trip home because of your credit card points. But I think I'd like to see some studies. I think people spend, I'm going to say 10 to 15% more than they normally would.
Oh, there's plenty of studies. And yeah, it's way more than what the rewards are. Yeah.
So, credit card points, rewards, I think it's a fool's game that I've played. I've played for many years. I played that game. Got a no-brainer for me?
Yeah, I do have a no-brainer for you. It's kind of a dark one. One of my favorite comedians of all time, Norm Macdonald, unfortunately passed yesterday. He fought cancer for 9 years silently, which is just insane. And so Norm Macdonald. And he's just one of my favorite comics of all time. And, when celebrities die, I don't usually give a shit, but I cried when I heard about it.
Really?
And the no-brainer is just, read his book with one of my closest friends and we bonded over it. And he's just a very dry comedian. He's just very right up my alley. And if anyone's into that, sardonic, dry, he's a comedian's comedian. And the no-brainer for the week is to go watch the moth joke that he tells on Conan, which is just like a 6-minute long joke that is just the most normic thing in the world to watch when he hosts the YouTube Video Awards in sweatpants and just makes fun of his position in the world after SNL, where he's hosting this ridiculous. He just keeps going, all the stars are here. Jimmy Mahone from this stupid YouTube show just essentially ridicules them live, and then the way he makes fun of Carrot Top on Conan O'Brien, just hit the Norm Macdonald best ofs on YouTube is my no-brainer for the week, just to commemorate him.
Lovely. Cheers to Norm. Thank you for making us laugh. Sorry you had to suffer. We'll miss you. That was a lovely no-brainer. Mine's a little bit, I don't know. It's just a
less
boring,
heavy than that.
Boring old no-brainer, which is get an alarm clock or two with battery, because I was having trouble sleeping because I'd have my phone next to me. Keep your phone plugged in and charging overnight in another room. Get I'm calling it an analog alarm clock. You told me that was the wrong term, but I think it's fine to call it an analog alarm clock.
I just went too far with it. In my mind, an analog alarm clock is a rooster.
No, it's not. So I've got this great. My husband got it from you last year for Hanukkah. It's from Braun, and it's this cute little circle. It's perfect. It's got you tap it for a light. You tap it to turn off the alarm. It looks beautiful. It costs I don't know $20. That's my no brainer. And if you're like me and you're a psycho and you have some important thing you need to wake up for, get 2 alarm clocks. You'll sleep better, right? If one battery dies or the power goes out, you got to back up. So no brainer alarm clock.
Love it. What else we got? Anything else this week?
Scam of the week?
Of course.
Big. This is a mean scam. I don't like this scam. Yeah.
Give me your scam, AJ.
My scam, there's a bunch of tax law changes coming. We'll talk about them endlessly on this podcast, I'm sure. But one of the things that stuck out to me is the long-term capital gains rates. We had heard rumors that they were going away for high earners, meaning that you'd pay short-term or regular income tax rates. So going from paying 20% when you sell stock if you hold it for a year to almost 39%. Yikes. Turns out the rates are going up. So instead of 20%, they're going to 25%. That's fine. That's better than we thought it was going to be. But the bad news, and this is the scammy ass part, is that it's effective as of September 13th. We're recording this on September 15th. So that was 2 days ago. So sorry, you're shit out of luck. If you sold $1 million in stock today and you thought you were paying, that top 20% cap gains rate, nope, you're paying 25%. No warning, flipped a switch. Congress loves to pull stuff like that. That is a scam. I'm sorry. I'm waiting for the insider trading stuff to come out with all those Congress members hoarding their individual stocks. I'm coming for you, Pelosi.
An effective congressional change of the tax laws would allow for people to plan ahead, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, regular people buy and sell stocks. This is such a dumb thing to blindside people with. It causes panic. It makes people hate their government, makes people hate paying taxes. If they'd given us some time, we could have planned. This is a big scam. Don't like it.
Yeah, I hear you. We're going to be covering a lot of tax law changes over the next few months, few weeks. So stay tuned for those. AJ, do you want to read us out?
Sure thing. Email us at liquidityevent@brooklynfi.com. Leave us a voicemail. That's podinbox.com/theliquidityevent. We've got some show notes for you. This is episode 8, so you can find that at brooklynfi.com/episode 8. If you like the show, leave us a review. I don't know, it boosts our egos. Doesn't really do much. We're just doing this for fun and for our wonderful clients. So thank you for listening. See you next week.
Bye.